I want to buy a copy of Bone Storm. Here's 99 cents.
Allow me to summarize the proposed transaction. You wish to purchase Bone Storm for 99 cents. Net profit to me, negative $59. Oh, please take my $59. I don't want it. It's yours.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and today Perch and I are going to have an interesting conversation. I think a lot of you will find intriguing. It might drive you up the wall, but it feels like a large portion of the fandom within comic books are very, and I do mean very sensitive these days. Back in the day, you think about the comic nerd. He's sitting at the school lunch table. Maybe there's two of them there. Everybody picks on them. They got kind of a thick skin. Of course, they will duel to the death over continuity and who's the more powerful character. But generally speaking, they kind of had a thick skin about things. It feels like that's kind of all gone out the window. Like, you cannot say anything without pissing somebody off and making them very upset, Perch.
No, it's true. And I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. I mean, first, I think this is sort of true of the world. There's no room for disagreement. There's no room for people to just kind of say, you know what, I have a different opinion. It's not enough to say, oh, I disagree with you. Have a good day. Or we think differently. You've got to dunk on them for everything. You've got to make sure that not only do you want to express that you disagree, but the other person is wrong, stupid, should be shot on a bridge, whatever it happens to be. Everybody needs to pick up their swords and go fight in the X-Men battle zone, whatever it is. It just and it's a good part of it's kind of the environment. Another part of it is that a lot of people have been pushed into this, I think, by kind of it's been a insult free for all. From creators to fans, and then from fans back to creators, and then fans to fans, for fans defending the creators, and it opened the door. And now I think people don't think they can disagree or argue without making it very personal, and it does feel over the top.
It's crazy. Like, you can't say anything without somebody. If someone disagrees with you, they can't just go, you know what, I don't. In my opinion, you don't understand the character. Or in my opinion, you forgot about this story 20 years ago that leads directly into this and makes all this make sense. It's always got to go to the very worst thing.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't like this character, you're a racist. If you don't like this character, you hate gay people. If you don't like this character, you obviously hate this person. It's like, do we always have to jump to the absolute worst conclusion in all this, and that the other person just might disagree?
Yeah, and everybody is in many cases, people are willing to acknowledge this is going on, but the fault is the other guy. That also becomes a disagreement. It's like, well, I can't help but act like this crazy asshole because this guy did it first. They were mean to me, so therefore that's why I am insulting their family, their friends, their children, and attacking them every day on social media because they were mean to me at one point. And it's like, I'm not saying that people were right to be mean to you at one point. It's just like, back it off. You don't have to go to war with every asshole that lives on the planet.
Yeah, it's strange. Obviously, as the channel grows, I get more feedback within the comments and stuff like that. And as I read the comments, I read, I do read a lot of the comments. I don't respond to all of them like I used to. It's just a lot of work, but there's a lot of stuff in there I just don't want to respond to. It's like, that is insane. That is insane. That is insane. Yeah. And do I really want to give people the satisfaction of even a response to some of this stuff? Because it's so blatantly odd. It's just, you're projecting all of your worst thoughts about somebody else onto me. I am who I am. I am who I present here on the channel. If you could think I'm an idiot, you can think I don't know comics, you could think that I have bad taste in comics. But just to go over the top with some of the accusations, it's just so strange. And it's a lot of the fan bases in particular are very crazy. Well, I'll use the word crazy. Specifically Batman and X-Men. Dawn of X, actually.
Yeah, I did the commentary on Standing and that these fan bases that are really, really hooked in. And once upon a time, that was like the Poison Ivy fan base that was just really militant. If you said you didn't like the character, you didn't like a comic that she was in, not even I didn't like this appearance. People would be all over you, and you'd just be in for days of shit on your social media. Now it's that's kind of backed off. I don't get as much of the Batman, but I definitely get the X-Men. And
you must not talk. You must not say that Batman's very slowly paced right now, and the last 5 issues could have been compressed into 1 or 2 because nothing's happened. And that's my honest opinion. So I've done videos on writing for the omnibus, and that's kind of what James Tynion is doing here. He could have made his Joker War story arc because of the starting point. It could have been 2 issues, including issue 100.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with that. So maybe I'll get the Batman hate now. You can look at that and you can go, hey, I'm enjoying the ride. That guy's not. The end. That's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be this kind of obsessive nonsense. I mentioned it before. I've got a guy who, for whatever reason, mailed me that he was doing this. I don't know why anybody thinks that they need to do that, but he's like, I've subscribed to your channel so I can be notified when every single one of your videos comes in, so I can be the first to downvote it. And I do that every single day. And I'm seeing this mail, thanks and fuck you. And I'm reading this and I'm like, I mean, okay, if that's how you want to spend your time, I'm not going to stop you, but that's weird. You've got to believe that's strange behavior. But whatever.
I'm going to be honest, Perch. I watch a lot of comic book content on YouTube, not as much as I used to now that I have my own channel, and I am basically a full-time kindergarten teacher during the day, so I have less time for YouTube. But I do watch a lot of channels, and I watch a lot of hot take channels and stuff like that. You are the most mildest of takes. No offense. Normally, you try to say the good with the bad. You present the information, and if you have a negative spin, it's a very easy to take negative spin. I can't believe you're actually living in someone's head that much that they would go in and tell you, I subscribe to your channel just to downvote every one of your videos. It's strange.
I can't either. It feels very weird. I'm like, I think you're unhinged, but okay, whatever makes you happy. I mean, if you're clicking on that video, I guess you're still giving me money. So I mean, all right, good for you. But it's just strange, and I think it's I don't take that as an insult. I know my content is pretty dry. That's by design.
I didn't say dry, but you don't go extreme one side or the other. You present an honest picture, and you do take a side, but you're normally not excessively insane, which I'll do sometimes. I'll admit.
I try not to. But it is, regardless of whether even if I was giving the hottest of hot takes, I think people have got to learn to just hey, that person has a different opinion than me. It can be okay. You don't have to do a performance art, and I think that's what a lot of it is. People are going to the comments. They're trying to say, "Look at me! I'm coming up with this crazy over the top insult," or maybe it's, "I want to put this out there because there's a different group I'm trying to appeal to. I don't want to be mistaken for being one of the baddies. So I'm going over the top and calling this guy a Nazi. He's a Nazi over there, so not me. That guy over there. I mean, pay no attention to the white robes in my closet. It's that guy that's the Nazi." That's how it feels like a lot of this stuff is going on. It feels very projective. It feels very past the buck somewhere else. And I do think we see it on our boards, but the creators also opened the door to this. They went over the top with their insults on some fans. And I think nobody has learned the lesson of, like, one extreme action begets another extreme action. If the fan goes, it's exactly, if the fan goes, "I hated this issue of Batman," okay, you could just leave it there. But if James Tynion were to go online and just spend 2 days attacking that one fan, when his sales are high, all that's doing is telling all the other fans, "Hey, if you want to see a reaction out of me, if you want to see a show, come at me, and then we'll have a little battle." I think that's what Donny Cates found himself in for a long time, and it just, every time he would snap at somebody, 10 more people would get angry, and they would snap back, and then it builds and builds and builds. Eventually, you have to stop that game.
Yeah, it's like I said, I do enjoy the comments. I go through and read them, but this is some of the weird stuff in there. Like I said, the Dawn of X thing is the one I don't get. I like half of Dawn of X. I talk about them all the time. I like a lot of what they've done in X-Men. I think X-Force is great. Wolverine's great. But God forbid Excalibur has too much magic, the characterization off, and the pacing sucks. Now, those are all very technical aspects of the book. But you would think that I was kicking one of these viewers. I was like kicking their dog in the nuts.
Yeah.
It's not personal. It's just my take on the comic book. It's almost, do you get sometimes I get the feeling people think, I'm supposed to be like, I don't know, what's the word? I'm supposed to be verifying their thought on the comic. I'm not supposed to be actually giving my personal critique on the comics. Like, I'm not here, like, do you feel like we're here to justify other people's positions on comic books?
Well, I think that's what some people look for. And I think that's why some of the outrage channels do as well as they do. You're not there to learn or listen to anything. You're here to reinforce your existing beliefs. And if your existing beliefs are, for example, that, the big two are absolute trash and everybody inside them is wrong, and they're out to get you if you're a Republican, for example, the entire company, everybody in it. It's just, if that's what you walk around with all day and that's what you believe, then there are channels out there you tune into, and it reinforces your belief. It's only there to give you, validation for those feelings. And I think there's
self-licking ice cream cone.
Yeah, the self-licking ice cream cone. I think that's what some people want. And I guess one, that's probably unhealthy if that's what you want. But again, it's your party. You can go with what you want, but then go find those channels. Don't then wander in.
The content's out there.
The content is, you are well served with that stuff. So
if you hate Star Wars and you think everything about what Kathleen Kennedy has done, and I'm basically in that camp for the most part.
Yeah,
you got plenty of content. If you think the big two are on their deathbeds and they're complete imbeciles and they've destroyed the entire comic book industry, there's plenty of content for that.
Yeah.
If you want to see Kevin Smith cry because someone said something nice to him, there's content for that.
I mean, there's channels with nothing but dash cams of Russian cars smashing into things. You can get whatever you want. It's the internet. It's amazing. There's something for everyone. There's even porn. But there's a ton. Yeah, I know. It's incredible. So there's stuff for everybody. And I think, find what makes you happy. You don't need to make everything you consume fit exactly what you want. And it's okay to be challenged. I think that's the other factors as a society. We no longer feel comfortable engaging in discussion where somebody disagrees. You see this a lot with the protests and other things that are happening in the U.S. where people don't want to hear an alternate opinion. They've got their opinion. They want to smash, and so this isn't just comics. It's everywhere. But like you, I get very tired of the constant random people, because I also read every comment. I used to go in and heart and like every comment just to acknowledge that I read it. But it's hard to do that when you got somebody in there going, I wish you and your family would die. It's hard to like that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, what is that? The Dark Knight when Joker said, why so serious? Why so sensitive? It's strange. It's like just because I agree with you on something, and you and I, we disagree on a lot of things, but just because you and I agreed that House of X Powers of 10 was a great comic book, when you like, New Mutants, you like a lot more than I did. When you like New Mutants and I didn't, that doesn't mean that you were wrong about me all along. It just means we agree on some things and we don't agree on everything.
I mean, it turns out we had completely different lives and tastes and backgrounds. And
you didn't even know you, man.
It's amazing that we're not all clones of each other. It's incredible.
Yeah, you see it right now, Dave. I don't even go on Facebook anymore because you agree with somebody, then you'll say something like, I think this is too far. Like maybe this has gone too far. I didn't realize you were a Nazi.
Yeah.
Am I a Nazi? Okay. Just because I think maybe we've reached the edge of sanity, and going a little further is a little bit too much for me to comprehend and even kind of say that's a good idea. I'm going to stop here. But because I didn't go with you all the way, I must have been a Nazi all along. I was just trying to infiltrate your life.
I think, and people aren't looking to understand. They come in. A lot of the comments I get, I'm sure it's from somebody who thinks they know what's in the video. They didn't actually watch it. It's clear. I had a guy who he spent a lot of time calling me a racist because I said I had a video on it said analyzing the Ta-Nehisi Coates run on Captain America. That was the video title. And my biggest premise in that video was that he was set up for failure. I don't think his run is good, But he's coming in after the Nick Spencer Hydra Cap stuff. I mean, there's very little chance that was. I mean, he did not get the character in a good place. That was the premise, and he certainly didn't do anything to improve that situation. But the character was damaged coming in, and I had a group of people who were in there going, "Well, I didn't just." It was exactly the same sense. Well, I didn't know you were a racist. I didn't know you were a Nazi. I guess you're a Nazi. I'm going to block this channel. I was like, I mean, block the channel. Okay. I mean, if it's making you that crazy that you're worried about hearing that stuff, then yeah, you should block the channel. Get it out of your life. Move on. Build that bubble. Get those walls nice and tight. But
that echo chamber is not going to build itself, folks.
Exactly. You got to put effort in. It's it is all over. I think everybody should, before you quickly jump to the conclusion of, yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying, but the creator should go first. Sure, everybody should look after their own stuff, but just for your own sanity, don't just take a look at who's living in your head, get them out of there. They don't deserve rent there. And then just try and make sure your own world is okay. And if everybody would do that, everything would work out.
And if Perch is living in your head and you're subscribed to his channel, and every time he makes a video of you going downvoted, just remember, there is a middle-aged man in a thong bathing suit with a Winnie the Pooh head on dancing in your head. It's beautiful.
It's true. I don't well, yeah. Fair enough. I'll yeah, that works. You don't want that image in your head. Nobody wants.
You don't want
that in your head. Just try. I literally. I mean, there's so much to enjoy and hate. You don't need to run around kind of finding more things. There's plenty out there. It's crazy.
The weird thing is, if you want confirmation bias, there are so many places to find it nowadays. You're probably just not going to find it here on my channel. We might agree on 80% of things, but if we disagree on 20%, I'm not going to silence myself or edit myself out and not say it just because of your feelings. Yeah, I'm going to cover what I think is relevant to the channel. I'm going to give honest opinions. If I think a comic you like, it sucks, I'm going to say it sucks. If I think something that's happening is not a good thing, but you agree with it, then we just disagree.
Yeah, it's that simple. And I often learn a lot from people I disagree with who are being normal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It can happen, folks. It's possible.
I definitely see that a lot. I see a lot of Johnny-come-latelys who've never commented my channel. Like I said, I actually do read them all, and they'll come in and be like, "I'm unsubbing today." It's like, come on, man. I've never heard from you before ever. Come on, it's not like you were coming in here and being an active part of the channel. You just came in to say that because you want to dictate what I can talk about in the future. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not at all. And it's try and grow a little bit of a thicker skin, I guess, is my best advice. It's okay if somebody, frankly, the best way to diffuse anything, and think about the moral superiority you can have over some of these creators or crazy Stan fans or whoever it might be who's insulting you, of going, yeah, I don't agree with you, and that's your problem, and just walk away. Don't give them the fight. In many cases, these people are begging for the fight, and when you give it to them, you're feeding that dopamine of them wanting to engage. And if you walk away, well, in many cases, that'll piss them off more than anything. So just, pro
and
tip.
That's both sides. I know, everybody will be like, well, it's, comic skate are the problem. And the other side will be like, it's all the SJWs that are the problem. Y'all are just as sensitive as each other.
That's true. So. Yeah, it's true. Everybody has the capacity for a thin skin, and there are nuts on. I mean, the guy who subbed to downvote basically did that because at one point he thought I wasn't praising Cyberfrog enough. And
you bastard.
I know. I don't know what to say. I've got it on the thong. What more do you want?
There you go. I don't even cover that stuff on the channel after the pegging porn thing. I'm like, I'm not covering any of that. This is way too much drama for my liking.
A lot of drama. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, that's weird, but just wanted to talk about it. It's like, let's all just have fun. We can agree to disagree. We can even have a good time disagreeing. Heck, that's half of what the fandom is, and half of what the fun part is when you get somebody like Perch or Willing or Doc, and you start disagreeing about something that they really love. it's fun. Yeah,
it is. I think so. I don't know. It feels weird to say. It feels like we're saying very obvious things. And so I'm with this topic. I always think, why do we have to say this? Don't most people know this, right? But clearly not.
I don't think so. Well, people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. Perch, thank you so much for visiting. I always enjoy these kind of conversations. Not a lot of news to talk about this week, so we got to kind of put our wings out and explore some other topics. I enjoyed this one a lot. If you enjoyed Perch's take, but you haven't subscribed to his channel, what are you waiting for? The man makes 3 videos a day about the comic book industry. There's a link in the video description. There is an icon on the channel on the screen right now that says Comics by Perch. You select that, you can go subscribe to his channel. The man lives and breathes comic books, people.
Yeah, and I'm glad to talk to all of you, honestly. Well, most of you. Thanks, Wes. Thanks for having me on.